It really feels like our lives are just a long series of conscious choices, right? But what if they're not? The truth is, most of what we do, from that first cup of coffee in the morning to how we deal with stress, it's all driven by these invisible forces called habits. And understanding them, that's the real key to rewriting your entire future.
I mean, we've all been there. You set a brand new goal, you're riding this huge wave of motivation, and then a few weeks later, poof, you're right back where you started. So why is making a real lasting change so incredibly hard? Well, it's not because you lack willpower. The answer is actually hardwired right into your brain.
See, your brain is this masterpiece of efficiency. It's always looking for ways to save energy. And its favorite trick, turning your regular actions into automatic routines. These habits let us get through the day without having to think about every single little thing, which frees up a ton of mental space. Basically, your brain just loves running on autopilot.
And this autopilot mode, wow, it is way more powerful than any of us realize. So, let's pull back the curtain for a minute and take a look at the hidden scripts that are secretly running our daily lives.
Just think about it for a second. Do you consciously decide on every single step of making your coffee in the morning? Or do you just kind of do it? And when you feel bored or a little stressed, does your hand just automatically find its way to your phone? Yep, those aren't really choices. They're habits. These super ingrained patterns that your brain just runs without even asking for your permission.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. All of these habits, the good ones, the bad ones, the ones you don't even notice, they all follow the exact same, simple, three-part formula. And once you understand this formula, you suddenly have the power to rewrite those scripts.
It's called the habit loop. And this isn't just some clever theory. It's a neurological reality. This is the fundamental cycle our brain uses to build and keep every single habit we have. It's a pattern that just runs on its own once it's locked in.
So everything hangs on understanding these three steps. First, there's the cue. That's the trigger that tells your brain, hey, go into automatic mode. It could be a time of day, a place, even an emotion. Second, you have the routine. That's the action itself, physical or mental. And finally, you get the reward, that good feeling your brain gets that basically tells it, hey, let's do that again.
Okay, let's use a super simple example. The cue, it's 3 p.m. and you feel that afternoon slump. That wave of tiredness hits you. The routine, you get up, walk to the kitchen, and grab a sugary cookie. The reward, you get that quick little burst of energy, a nice feeling. Your brain connects that feeling with the cookie and boom, the next time you feel tired around 3 p.m., that craving is already firing off.
So, we get the architecture of our habits now, but how do we actually, rebuild them? Well, this brings us to the most powerful tool for change there is, the golden rule.
The core idea here is a total game changer. You can't just delete a bad habit. The pathways in your brain are just too strong. Trying to fight off a craving with nothing but willpower is exhausting, and let's be honest, it almost never works. The secret isn't to resist the loop, it's to hijack it.
Check out how this works. The golden rule says you keep the same cue and you keep the same reward, but you consciously swap out the routine in the middle. So if your cue is feeling stressed and the reward you're chasing is a feeling of calm, you don't fight the stress, you accept it. But instead of the old routine, smoking a cigarette, you plug in a new one, like going for a quick walk. You still get that reward, a feeling of calm, but you got there with a much healthier routine.
Now, not all habits are created equal. Some are way more powerful than others. They don't just change one little thing, they set off a chain reaction that can transform, well, everything. These are called keystone habits.
A keystone habit is like the first domino in a long line. It's one foundational change that just ripples through your entire life, sparking other good habits automatically. If you can identify and focus on just one of these, it can be the starting point for a massive transformation, without you having to feel like you have to tackle everything at once.
The absolute classic example of a keystone habit, and for a really good reason, is regular exercise. Let's just look at what happens when someone starts this one simple habit.
It's amazing, it's almost never just about the exercise itself. People who start working out, they often start eating better without even trying to. They start sleeping better. Their energy and focus at work shoot up. They feel less stressed. This one single habit creates a whole cascade of positive changes. And this doesn't just work for individuals, it works for huge organizations too. When a new CEO took over the struggling aluminum company Alcoa, he didn't get up and talk about profits. Nope, he focused on one keystone habit, worker safety.
By redesigning routines all around safety, he totally transformed communication, efficiency, and quality across the entire company, which, by the way, led to record profits.
Okay, so we've got the loop, we've got the golden rule. But there's one more ingredient, and honestly, it might be the most important one of all. It's the thing that actually makes the change stick.
You can have the most perfect plan. You can identify all your cues, swap your routines, find your keystone habits, but if, deep down, you don't truly believe that you can change, that new habit is going to crumble the second it's put under pressure. Belief, that's the fuel.
So, how do you get that belief? Well, a lot of the time, it comes from community. This is why support groups are so incredibly effective. When you see other people changing, and more importantly, when they believe in you, it becomes so much easier to believe in yourself. That shared faith is often the tipping point that makes a new habit permanent. So, what's your action plan? Let's break it down into a simple 5-step process. 1. Pick the habit you want to change. 2. Analyze its loop. What's the cue, the routine, and the reward? 3. Replace only the routine with something better. 4. Make a point to reward your new behavior to really lock it in. And 5. Just persist. Keep doing it until that autopilot finally takes over.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this one profound truth. The small, seemingly insignificant choices we repeat every day, they compound over time to build the person we become. Your life, right now, is the sum of your habits. So the most powerful question you can ever ask yourself is this: what habits are you going to choose to build tomorrow?